What is up, everybody? This is your boy, Teran Rodriguez, host of Set Point here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports. And we are back with some one-on-one interviews with the National Collegiate men's volleyball teams that made the big dance. And with me, I have my first guest. Just like last year, he was my first guest. He's the head coach of Fort Valley State's men's volleyball team. He's done an excellent job with the Wildcats, and his team is going dancing for the second straight year. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the one, the only, Larry Rather. How are you doing, Larry?
Hey, Teran, appreciate you having me again, man. It's an honor to be able to step on and have this conversation with you and talk about our program.
An honor to have you on. So without any further delay, let us get on into the action. But just in case the feds are watching, which they most likely are, these are the thoughts and opinions of myself, Teran Rodriguez, and of Larry Rather, and not the thoughts and opinions of IE Sports Radio, Fort Valley State University, or any third or fourth party organizations. So with that being said, Larry, we know who you are, but your team just continues to take the SIAC by storm as you wound up winning the SIAC tournament for the second straight year. Talk to me about how that felt winning the SIAC tournament and taking down your rival Edward Waters yet again.
It was reassuring. I talked a little bit about this with Vinny when we spoke a couple weeks ago, but it's reassuring to know that the culture that you're building is sustaining and is able to produce that same caliber the next year. And being able to win it on our home court is an extreme prideful moment, and as we speak today at 1:00, our women's softball team will be playing in the championship for the SIAC. So, it's kind of changing the culture here on our campus, and it's kind of awesome to see that we were kind of the spark for that, and that what we were building is sustaining.
That's really awesome, and best of luck to Fort Valley State's softball team and whatnot. So the conference format looked a little like the Big West at times, except for the series against Morehouse and for the Edward Waters, where you just played on back-to-back nights, where you had that halftime mentality after the first match. So did you like that format, and how did you like prepare for it and adapt to it?
I think we kind of try to take a model off of some of our other conferences out there that are in a similar situation, with having 3 schools that are about 6+ hours away, but then the rest of us are probably about 4. So we kind of wanted to try to, 1, financially make that work for us, but 2, make it to where we could still be competitive. And it was the first year of it. I don't know really how I feel about it yet, because I'm still in the mindset of what's going on next. I kind of will review the full year in that aspect once we're done with everything.
Got it. But going to your non-conference schedule, it looked really good. You had played Ohio State twice on the road. You played Mount Olive. They were a very good team for the most part. You played Long Beach State in the Silver State Showcase. You also played Belmont Abbey, GCU, Lincoln Memorial, Lewis. Was that kind of the game plan, to play those tough teams regardless of the result, to prepare you for the SIAC, or what was that mindset playing all those good teams?
100%. Our mindset with the schedule we had was, we're trying to, 1, repeat here, and we know if we can compete at the national highest level, we should be able to handle that in our conference. So our goal was, try to get nationally ranked this year, try to beat a nationally ranked team, and kind of make some shocking waves out there. And, opening at Ohio State for our season was a twofold, right? We got to experience where we're going to play at the end of the year, where we play in a week here. And we got to play Ohio State, who's a tough competitor, who's been nationally ranked. And then get into Mount Olive and Lincoln Memorial and Lewis. They're top-ranked programs at the D2 level, so we got to compete against them and see where we match up. So everything on our schedule is always a test and always a challenge to see where we stand and where we got to get better at.
I should note that some of those non-conference opponents were either ranked, or they were hopefuls to make the conference tournament, or they did make said conference, or did they to make the national tournament. So I think you really chose wisely. What were some of your favorite road places to go to, or did you just like all of them? Or talk to me about some of your favorite memories on the
I
road.
think honestly, for me, one of the favorites would have to be our Ohio State trip. Our team really bonded a lot over that trip. We got to deal with some snow while we were there. So, being from the South and you get to see how some of these guys react is pretty funny, and how overly bundled up they get. Um, but just like the team camaraderie, I think got even stronger on that trip, and the guys got to bond a little more. They got to get a little closer with me, and we got to understand each other a little more in that aspect. And it just further cemented the tribe mentality of what we have in our program. So for me, that was probably the most memorable trip.
Excellent choice. Now, your team went 12-0 in conference play, and they only dropped one set in conference play. What could you attest that to in terms of the consistency of your program and how it just looked, they looked like a machine out there?
Yeah. I mean, when we step on the court, we're treating every team with the same respect we would treat Long Beach, who was the number one team when we played them in Reno. We come in with the same mentality. We're going to do the same scouting report. We're going to go through the same work ethic. We treat everybody with the same respect. And if you're there with us, it's going to be a great fight. And if not, then sorry for you. And if we're on the other end of it and we're the ones taking the thrashing, it is what it is. We're always going to compete and we're always going to get after it. And if we happen to be on top, wonderful. If not, it's how it is. As long as we fought through it.
Now, talking about parts of your team, Isaiah Fed, the first person that comes to mind, has been a superstar. 277 kills, 40 aces, 93 digs, but he's not alone. He's got help from Jackson Hicks, who also has 191 kills. Martin Tavion, is that how it's pronounced?
Tavion Martin.
Or Tavion Martin. Tavion Martin. So yeah, Tavion Martin, he has 104 kills. He leads your team in blocks with 50. Who are some other standouts that I'm missing and that deserve some love? And who are some other players that are flying under the radar?
I think our freshman libero, Dozie Onye, he's done a great job for us. He's been a steady piece, and to be a true freshman, he doesn't get a lot of looks and a lot of attention just because of the serving pressure or blocking pressure we're able to provide. So he doesn't get to see a lot of action. But him in the serve-receive line, he's done a great job for us being stable and steady. And him and Hicks together is a great duo to kind of take some pressure off of Isaiah.
Now, you've been the head coach from the start when it comes to this program all the way to the present. How satisfying is it to see the growth of this program just continuing to take steps up after being a new program?
It's kind of the same feeling after we won the back-to-back, like the vision you had from the beginning of when you got the program and when you first started putting all the pieces together. And at first it doesn't seem like it's working, but you stay consistent and you stay persistent, and and you get guys to buy into the vision that you had. It's special, because not a lot of people can do that with a program. Not a lot of people can have that many guys buy in from the start, and finish it. We started this program with 13 guys and we're graduating 10, and we graduated too early last year. So, guys who come into our program stay in our program for one, and two, they understand the why of this program, and what we're trying to fight to do and where we're trying to be and the representation we're trying to provide out there. It makes it even more special to know I have backing with me, to make that kind of vision and dream come true.
Let's not forget that last year you were the first ever representative from the SIAC to go to the big dance. What was that feeling like, knowing, hey, we're going to be dancing and we made a lot of history?
That's what we were chasing for at the beginning of our program. I think I talked about it with you last year. When I recruited our first group of guys, as I was talking to them, I was like, hey, in 3 years, we're going to the NCAA tournament. In the first 2 years were kind of just us building, knowing We were just waiting for that chance to be able to be the team to make history. And so to be able to do it again, it's like, man, yeah, like we're on to something. We're figuring some things out. Can we sustain that, having a new group come in the next year? But this current group has put in the work from the start to be able to put themselves in front of opportunities to seize.
Excellent. So now looking at your opponents, Long Beach State, you've seen them already. How do you game plan for a team that has arguably one of the best players in the nation with Moni Nikolov, who has just been a rock star all year?
I mean, we're just going to have to honestly come out. They're going to do a lot of great things. We're going to try to take advantage of a couple of things, hope a couple of balls go our way. We understand it's not going to be an easy match. They're the number one for a reason. And when we saw them, they played extremely well. So I think for us, we just need to be loose, relax, not take the pressure of the moment in hand. I think volleyball-wise, scouting-wise, everyone's going to have little things that you can try to take advantage of. But at the end of the day, it's going to be, can we have enough heart and enough stamina to continue slinging and swinging, with Goliath. Right now, we're Rocky and Rocky 3. we're going up against the big Russian right now, and if we're going to win this, we got to be able to take a bunch of swings coming at us and stay standing and keep throwing some swings back.
And speaking of Long Beach, last year you all were in Long Beach, which was your first time in the big dance. What were some of your favorite memories when visiting Long Beach in California?
The guys got to go to the beach when we were out there. It was a cool experience because we stayed and watched the Final Four, so the guys got to experience what it was like, and that was kind of the vision I had when we went last year. If we won that first round or not, we were going to stay and see the Final Four, because I wanted them to be able to envision and see and feel what that atmosphere is like. Because the Elite Eight is great, but it's a completely different atmosphere into the semis. And then even from the semis into the finals, like that's a completely different atmosphere. So kind of trying to prepare for this year, we stayed and we watched the Final Four, and the guys got a great experience from it. They got to see some high-level volleyball in person. They got to have some great conversations about it. And then we made some great memories outside the gym. And I think that's what it was kind of all about. And taking the memories of the battle they had against UCLA last year, again, the number one seed. It's just a lot of memories that come from it. It's really hard to put it just into one.
And what were some of the differences being on the West Coast as opposed to being in the South in Georgia, if there were any at all, other than time change?
I would honestly say just the time change. That was the biggest thing for us. We gained some time, which means we got a little extra sleep here or there, so it was kind of a little bit better and helped us out. But there wasn't too much change. I mean, the Pyramid's definitely a hard place to play in. With where the lights are situated and your depth perception with it. So that's definitely hard. But other than that, volleyball is volleyball. You're going to go in a gym, you're going to have a net set up, you're going to have a 30 by 60 court with a ref stand, and that's your battle. That's your arena to go to war.
Teran Rodriguez of Set Point on iSports Radio here with Fort Valley State men's volleyball coach Larry Rather. Just a few more questions, and then I'll let you go for the day. So your fan base in terms of Fort Valley State, what can you say about that, and how amazing is it to have like a loyal supporters and whatnot?
Our fan support is awesome. Our guys get a lot of love on campus. They are in sense the standard of what it means on and off the court to be a champion. They're well loved, well liked, well spoken about. And so the fan base that we have, and knowing how genuine it is just reciprocated from us, right? We're genuine people. We love hard, we fight hard. And, our fans are the same way. And we really got to experience that when we played our championship at home in the finals, and you got to see the pride in all of our fans' faces, and they stormed the court, and that was just a wonderful experience. And I talked to my guys about it last night because I just sat back and kind of got to watch the whole situation, and you can see the pride in the whole arena, knowing that their team not only won the conference again, but will be going to the tournament and had a possibility of going to the tournament again. So it just allows the pride of our city and our state and our university that we're putting us on the map.
You all are definitely on the map, and everyone should be on. You all should be on everyone's radar. All right. So I know this question may sound cliche, but Fort Valley State wins the national championship if they blank.
Play with a lot of heart. Play very scrappy. That's all we really need. You get a couple of points to go your way. If we can play with heart, play with effort, and stay composed, I think we'll be in a really good spot.
All right, so now I kind of have a little bit the last serious question that I'll ask you some fun questions. So I obviously asked you what do we all need to do to help grow NCAA men's volleyball. If you were kind of like the head honcho to like help grow men's volleyball, what are some things that you would like add or like possibly do to like help the game of NCAA men's volleyball grow if you were like the head honcho?
With current times, it'd definitely be figuring out how to not have another GCU situation happen. That's tragic for our community of men's volleyball D1, D2, to have a program that has been in the Elite Eight, the Final Four, in the top 10 this year, and then a program cut, and you can say it's for financial purposes, but you're a publicly traded company. You're a university that's publicly traded. Their program is a drop in a bucket to you, and you already give them pennies on a dollar anyway in a budget. So I would be trying to figure out how we can sustain this out more, get more visibility out of what men's volleyball does and what it actually is and what it provides to these universities and to just the public in general. Men's volleyball is a exciting, electric sport that kind of gets overlooked a lot. I see it better than basketball, but there's some things that that conversations have to be had to figure out where we can truly go with it. But it definitely would be pushing this college rank so that we then can try to push into the pro rank after that.
Well, beautifully said. That is a definite great answer right there. So, all right. So now let's have a little fun here. Let's ask some fun questions. So, when you were in Long Beach, did you ever go to In-N-Out, or have you ever gone to In-N-Out? And what is your honest take on In-N-Out?
So we didn't go to In-N-Out when we were there for the championship. We went when we were out there to play UCLA, UCLA, CSUN, and Pepperdine. And we went to In-N-Out. I've been in In-N-Out many of times. I am not a fan. I think In-N-Out is extremely overrated. I would get a double animal style, fries animal style, and it's all right. Midwest guy, I'm good with Culver's, but being in the South, it's Cookout. Cookout is my thing. I'll go there any day, and I'll put that over In-N-Out any day.
This is one of the reasons why I love doing this, and this is one of the reasons why I like interviewing you. That might be an amazing answer right there. I mean, some will probably disagree, but you are speaking your mind, and I salute that to you. So, speaking of food, if I ever want to come out to Fort Valley, where are some great places to eat at? Whether it's fast food or cookout, like you just mentioned, where are some places where I can go to get my grub on?
So, Cookout is always, late night snack, need something to go to. Pretty much can get anything, great shakes. Then there's a place in Perry, Georgia, which is like a 10-20 minute drive. It's a New Orleans style place called Orleans on Carroll. Chef's Kiss. Place is wonderful. I went there with my wife and in-laws last year, and I'm going to go this year when I get some free time. Those two places are the staples. And then if you're going for some ice cream, you got to hit Jeremiah's. Jeremiah's Italian ice with custard is the best thing. I get the strawberry cheesecake, Italian ice with ice cream in it, and it's the best thing ever.
I love it. So, as a head coach, what have been some of your favorite memories in terms of this program, and what have been some of your favorite memories, like overall, in terms of whether it's being a head coach for here or elsewhere, or as a volleyball coach in general?
Favorite memory for sure would be winning back to back, and doing it in a sense of, the way I broke it down to my guys. We lost the first 2 years and won the back 2 years for our first group. And that first group in the first year, the team that won the conference was Central. The first year we won our conference, we beat Central. In the year two, playing on our home court, we lost to Edward Waters to knock us out in the semis. In year four, playing on our home court again, we beat Edward Waters. So though that's like super memorable for me because it just showed the growth of our program and the ability to surpass and outlast, in a sense, those who have been around us. That's always going to be memorable. But just the bonds and the relationships I've made with these guys, I was talking about it, and we're going to put together with our alumni, we're going to start doing adult nationals or go to Wapaka and do boat ride together and just make like a little alumni group and keep that together. Because, for us, like, we just found our tribe. We just got together and we've been together for 4 years, and it's got to end already. And for us of men of color, like, you don't get this atmosphere much, and they just found it after high school. And so we were kind of talking about it and figuring out how we can just continue this tribe going. And we're going to look into adult national team or a grass group that goes and plays just to keep this together as long as we can, because the memories we're making and the bonds we've created, we want to sustain as much as we can.
Beautiful, beautifully said. So, do you have any thank yous you want to give out to, or shout outs that you want to give out to anyone before we end this off?
Yeah. Shout out to Dr. Paul Jones, our president, Daphne Johnson, our AD, the Wildcat Nation, our women's softball team. Go get this dub, get the champs. And that's it. My wife and my son, and the rest of our supporters. Continue to like, follow, share Fort Valley State men's volleyball. We're on the rise, and we're going to continue to be that way, and just hope you guys can join us.
Well, listen, it has been an honor to support your team and to interview you yet again. Amazing job this season. Hopefully, we can continue to see your team grow and improve. It is greatly appreciated. He's Larry Rather. I'm Teran Rodriguez, and this is Set Point Extra Points in terms of the National Collegiate Men's Volleyball Tournament. See you next time.